Welcome to Billionaire Success Lessons. Today, we're diving into the story of a man who did not begin with privilege, glamour, or easy certainty. He began with pressure, discipline, work, and an unusual ability to keep moving when the odds looked terrible. This is the story of Jensen Huang, the founder and CEO of NVIDIA, a man whose name is now tied to one of the most important technology companies in the world. But what makes his journey so powerful is not just the money, the fame, or the success. It is the way he built his life. It is the way he turned hardship into endurance, endurance into vision, and vision into a company that helped reshape modern computing. When people look at Jensen Huang today, they often see the leather jacket, the confidence, the stage presence, and the extraordinary success. What they do not always see is the long road behind that image. They do not see the years of uncertainty, the invisible pressure, the failures that nearly crushed the company, and the quiet lessons that were forming inside him long before the world started paying attention. Jensen Huang was born in Taiwan, and his path to the top of the technology world was anything but predictable. He would later study electrical engineering at Oregon State University and earn a master's degree in electrical engineering from Stanford. But before those achievements became part of his resume, he was simply a young person trying to adapt, trying to grow, and trying to find his place in a world that offered no guarantees. His family immigrated to the United States when he was still a child, and that early movement across countries and cultures mattered. It taught him something many successful people learned very early. Comfort is temporary, but adaptation is survival. Some people are shaped by stability, others are shaped by disruption. Jensen Huang seems to be one of those rare people who turn disruption into strength. He did not build his life on the assumption that the world would be fair. He built it on the belief that the world would be hard, and that his job was to become stronger than the difficulty in front of him. That mindset would later become one of the deepest foundations of his success. Long before NVIDIA became a giant, Jensen Huang learned lessons that had nothing to do with billion-dollar valuations and everything to do with character. He got his first job at Denny's in Portland when he was just 15 years old. He washed dishes, he cleared tables, he served customers, he worked jobs that many people overlook, but he never spoke about them as something beneath him. In fact, he later said those years taught him humility, hard work, and hospitality. Think about that for a moment. The future leader of one of the most influential technology companies in the world was shaped not only by engineering and business, but also by ordinary service work. He learned how to show up, how to stay useful, how to do repetitive tasks well, and how to take pride in effort even when nobody is applauding. That matters because greatness is rarely built in glamorous moments. It is usually built in small moments that train the mind and strengthen the spirit. The world celebrates the keynote speech, the breakthrough product, and the stock price. But character is often forged in the kitchen, behind the counter, in the late shift, when nobody knows your name, and nobody imagines what you might become. As he grew older, Jensen Huang chose engineering, a field that rewards clarity, discipline, and deep thinking. He earned his degree from Oregon State University, and later completed his master's degree at Stanford. Before founding NVIDIA, he worked in the semiconductor industry, including roles at Advanced Micro Devices and LSI Logic. Those years were not just about gaining technical experience. They were about learning how the industry worked, where its limits were, and where the future might be headed. This is one of the patterns that appears again and again in the lives of extraordinary builders. They do not rush blindly into ambition. They spend time understanding reality. They watch carefully. They work under pressure. They absorb systems, and then, when the moment comes, they make a move that others are not yet ready to make. Jensen Huang was not dreaming in abstraction. He was training in the real world. He was learning the language of chips, architecture, design, and execution. He was preparing for the moment when knowledge would need to become vision, and vision would need to become action. That moment came in 1993. Jensen Huang co-founded NVIDIA with Chris Malachowski and Curtis Preen. The company was founded with a vision to bring 3D graphics to gaming and multimedia, and fittingly, the idea was born in a Denny's booth, where the founders met to talk about building a chip that could enable realistic 3D graphics on personal computers. There is something beautiful about that image. Not a polished boardroom, not a glamorous launch event. Just three people, coffee, conversation, and conviction. This is how many world-changing ideas begin. Quietly, imperfectly, without permission from the world. At that point, NVIDIA was not a giant. It was a bet. A fragile idea aimed at a future that most people could not yet see. Jensen Huang was only 30 years old, and like so many founders at the beginning, he had to carry something very heavy. Belief before proof, that is one of the loneliest burdens in life. To see what others do not yet see. To commit before the results are visible. To keep going when the future still looks like imagination. But belief alone was not enough to make NVIDIA survive. In the early years, the company came frighteningly close to failure. Its initial projects did not work out the way the founders hoped, and financial pressure became intense. One of the most important turning points in NVIDIA's survival came when Sega put in $5 million. That helped keep the company alive. It is easy to look backward now and imagine success was inevitable. It was not. NVIDIA was vulnerable. Jensen Huang was not leading from a place of certainty. He was leading from inside danger. That is an important distinction. Many people think successful leaders are fearless because they do not feel pressure. In reality, the strongest leaders often feel pressured more deeply than others, but they refuse to collapse under it. Jensen Huang did not become remarkable because he avoided hard seasons. He became remarkable because he lived through them, absorbed their lessons, and kept building anywhere. Every founder talks about risk when times are good, but the real test comes when payroll is threatened, confidence is fading, and the future looks like a wall instead of an open road. That is where resilience stops being a slogan and becomes a way of life. Jensen Huang has spoken very openly about pain, struggle, and resilience. He once said that greatness comes from smart people who have suffered setbacks. That line surprised many people, but it reveals something essential about how he thinks. He does not romanticize comfort. He does not worship ease. He understands that difficulty is often the training ground of depth. Pain is not good because suffering is pleasant. Pain matters because it strips away illusion. It forces clarity. It reveals who you really are when things stop going your way. Jensen Huang's life seems to reflect that truth. The lessons from childhood transition, the lessons from working in a diner, the lessons from early business stress, all of them built a philosophy inside him. Expect hardship, stay resilient, and keep solving the problem in front of you. That is why his story resonates so strongly. It is not merely a story of intelligence. It is a story of inner toughness. And in a world obsessed with shortcuts, that may be one of the most valuable lessons of all. Then came one of the defining breakthroughs in NVIDIA's history. In 1999, the company invented the GPU, the graphics processing unit. That invention helped redefine computer graphics, reshaped the gaming market, and set the stage for changes that would reach far beyond gaming. At first glance, a GPU might sound like a technical milestone meant mainly for engineers and gamers, but what it really represented was something bigger. It was proof that Jensen Huang and his team were not just trying to build a business. They were building a new computing model. This is where vision becomes visible. The market could now see that NVIDIA was not simply surviving. It was creating foundational technology. And that matters because real success is rarely about chasing trends. Real success often comes from building infrastructure that others later depend on. Jensen Huang was not trying to win one short race. He was positioning NVIDIA to matter for decades. That kind of leadership requires patience, conviction, and the courage to think beyond the applause of the present moment. The people who change industries are often the people willing to build for it. Future that the current market still underestimates. If the invention of the GPU was a breakthrough, the unveiling of CUDA in 2006 was a deeper statement about the future. CUDA opened the parallel processing capabilities of GPUs to science and research. In simple terms, it expanded what these chips could do. They were no longer just about better graphics on a screen. They were becoming engines for broader computation. This is one of the most important chapters in Jensen Huang's success story, because it shows what separates a good entrepreneur from a transformational one. A good entrepreneur sees a market. A transformational entrepreneur sees a platform. Jensen Huang understood that what NVIDIA was building could matter far beyond the company's original niche. And that kind of decision is rarely rewarded immediately. Long-term bets often look strange in the beginning. They can appear expensive, unnecessary, or too early. But history has a way of honoring those who build before the demand becomes. Obvious CUDA was not just a technical move. It was a philosophical move. It said that NVIDIA would not be trapped by its first identity. It would evolve, expand, and reimagine what its technology was for. That willingness to redefine the mission is one of the clearest marks of visionary leadership. Years later, the world would see just how important that long-term thinking was. NVIDIA's technology helped spark the era of modern AI by powering the breakthrough neural network in 2012. And today, NVIDIA stands as a leader in accelerated computing and artificial intelligence. This is where Jensen Huang's story becomes larger than one man or one company. His decisions did not simply create wealth. They helped shape the architecture of a new era. Suddenly, the same company that once began with a vision for 3D graphics was now central to artificial intelligence, data centers, robotics, science, and industries across the globe. That kind of transformation does not happen by accident. It happens when a leader keeps asking a question that many others stop asking too soon. What could this become? Jensen Huang did not let NVIDIA remain trapped inside its original success. He pushed it toward the next horizon, and then the next one after that. The world often celebrates timing, but timing alone is not enough. You also need preparation. When the AI wave accelerated, NVIDIA was ready, because Jensen Huang had spent years building the road before the traffic arrived. What makes this story even more meaningful is that Jensen Huang never seems to present success as something clean or easy. Even as NVIDIA grew, his worldview remained shaped by difficulty. He combines low expectations with high resilience. That idea is powerful because it goes against the polished mythology of success. Many people imagine successful founders waking up each day with endless confidence. But leaders like Jensen Huang often think differently. They expect problems, they expect setbacks, they expect pressure, and because they expect those things, they are less likely to be shattered by them. This may be one of the deepest lessons in his journey. Optimism is useful, but naive optimism can be dangerous. Real builders often combine hope with toughness. They keep faith in the mission, but they do not lie to themselves about the difficulty of the path. Jensen Huang's life suggests that resilience is not just emotional endurance. It is strategic endurance. It is the ability to continue thinking clearly while stress is rising. It is the discipline to stay useful when panic would be easier. It is the maturity to accept that challenge is not evidence you chose the wrong road. Sometimes it is the evidence that you are building something that matters. There is also something deeply human in the way Jensen Huang still talks about Denny's. He has said that working in the restaurant business teaches humility, hard work, and hospitality. That is not a trivial detail. It reveals that despite all the technical achievement, he has never reduced success to intelligence alone. He understands that how you treat people matters. How you work matters. How you carry yourself in ordinary settings matters. Some people become successful and rewrite their past as though humble work was merely a stage they escaped. Jensen Huang seems to honor those early lessons instead. And maybe that is part of why his story lands so strongly. It reminds us that no experience is wasted when it shapes your character. No honest work is small when it teaches discipline. No hard season is meaningless when it builds strength you will one day need. Too many people despise the chapter they are in. because it does not look impressive yet. But often the chapter that feels the least glamorous is preparing you for the chapter that will demand the most from you. Today, NVIDIA is no longer a fragile startup at a diner table. It is one of the most influential technology companies in the world. The same company that started with the belief in better graphics now stands at the center of AI infrastructure, accelerated computing, robotics, healthcare, manufacturing, autonomous systems, and more. And through all of that change, Jensen Huang has remained its founder and chief executive since day one. That kind of sustained leadership is rare. It means he did not merely start something valuable. He kept evolving with it, carrying responsibility through multiple eras of technology. Many people can be brilliant in one season. Far fewer can remain relevant, adaptive, and visionary across decades. That longevity tells us something essential. Jensen Huang was not just chasing opportunity. He was building capacity. He was strengthening the kind of mind that can survive reinvention. In a fast-changing world, that may be one of the most important forms of intelligence there is. So what is the real lesson in the story of Jensen Huang? It is not simply that a man founded a successful company. It is not simply that a startup survived and later dominated. The deeper lesson is that enduring success is often born from a combination of humility, technical mastery, resilience, and long-range vision. Jensen Huang worked ordinary jobs, trained in difficult environments, studied deeply, built carefully, survived near disaster, and kept betting on the future before the world understood what he was seeing. He teaches us that the road to greatness is not smooth. It is not fast. And it is definitely not painless. But pain does not have to destroy you. It can educate you. Pressure does not have to break you. It can refine you. Uncertainty does not have to stop you. It can train you to think more clearly, act more bravely, and commit more deeply. That is why his story matters not only to engineers, founders, or investors, but to anyone trying to build a meaningful life. Because in the end, the principles are larger than business. Work hard, stay humble, learn constantly, endure difficulty, keep your vision alive longer than your fear. And maybe that is the best way to remember Jensen Huang. Not just as the chief executive on the stage, not just as the billionaire in the headlines, and not just as the face of a company powering the artificial intelligence era, but as a builder who understood something timeless. Your beginning does not have to predict your ending, but your character will shape both. A dishwasher can become a founder. A founder can survive the edge of collapse. A company built for one purpose can grow into something the world depends on. And a life shaped by hardship can become a life that inspires millions. Here on Billionaire Success Lessons, that is exactly why stories like this matter. They remind us that success is not magic. It is built, it is tested, it is earned, and sometimes the people who rise the highest are the people who learned very early how to keep going when nobody expected much from them. Jensen Huang's journey is a reminder that greatness is not reserved for the lucky. More often, it belongs to the resilient,